Loneliness is not the absence of others. It is the forgetting of who you truly are. This prayer carries the sacred frequency of remembrance, a vibrational code written by Thoth to dissolve the illusion of separation at its root. As you receive these words, you are not simply listening. You are being restored to your original design. You are remembering that you were never alone, that you have always been woven into the infinite fabric of existence. Allow this transmission to move through every layer of your being. Open your heart. Still your mind. Let the healing begin. I enter this sacred chamber with reverence. I still the noise of the world within my chest. I open the gates of my spirit to the ancient currents that flow through all living things. I recognize this moment as a portal. I stand at the threshold between the seen and the unseen. I acknowledge the presence of that which has always been. I call upon the wisdom that predates language. I invoke the consciousness that writes itself upon the fabric of existence. I align myself with the eternal scribe. I open to the guidance of Thoth, keeper of cosmic law, guardian of the hidden patterns, architect of reality's deepest codes. I am here. I am present. I am awake within this breath. I feel the weight of my solitude dissolving into something greater. I sense the subtle architecture of connection that has been obscured by the veils of perception. I recognize that what I have called loneliness is a doorway I have not yet learned to open. I acknowledge the ache within my heart, not as a wound, but as a signal from my deepest self. I understand that I have been searching in the outer world for what can only be found within the temple of my own being. I declare my intention to heal this separation at its root. I commit to this transformation with every fiber of my awareness. I release the belief that I am separate. I dissolve the illusion that I walk this path alone. I attune my frequency to the vibration of unity. I remember that before I knew language, before I learned the names of things, I existed in a state of pure connection. I recall the moment before birth when I was not yet divided from the wholeness. I touch that memory now with gentle hands. I allow it to rise within me like sacred water from an underground spring. I let it wash through the corridors of my consciousness. I permit it to soften the hardened places where I have armored myself against the world. I invoke the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. I recognize that my external experience of isolation reflects an internal fragmentation I have carried. I see now that I have been holding pieces of myself apart, scattered across time, trapped in old stories, frozen in past pain. I understand that reunion begins within the landscape of my own soul. I call these fragments home. I gather the lost parts of myself with compassion. I create space within my heart for every exiled aspect of my being to return. I am the reunion I have been seeking. I open myself to receive the transmission that flows through this prayer. I acknowledge Thoth as the voice of divine intelligence speaking through the silence. I recognize this sacred moment as medicine. I trust that the words moving through me now carry frequencies of healing that transcend their literal meaning. I allow these vibrations to penetrate the cellular memory of my body. I give permission for ancient codes to activate within my spiritual DNA. I surrender to the alchemical process that transforms loneliness into solitude and solitude into communion with the infinite. I am held by forces greater than my understanding. I feel the presence of the invisible realm drawing closer. I sense the thinning of the veil between worlds. I perceive the countless beings and consciousnesses that exist beyond the narrow band of ordinary perception. I acknowledge the guides, the ancestors, the cosmic intelligences that have always walked beside me. I recognize that I have never been alone, even in my darkest nights. I understand that my isolation was a forgetting, not a truth. I remember now. I awaken to the reality of the interwoven nature of all existence. I stand in the eternal web of connection. I bring my awareness to the sacred geometry of my heart. I visualize the luminous chamber where divine essence resides. I see the golden light that has never been extinguished. I witness the throne where my highest self has always been seated. I bow before this inner majesty. I honor the divinity that lives within this human form. I acknowledge the spark of consciousness that connects me to every star in the cosmos, every particle in existence, every heartbeat that has ever sounded across time. I am the microcosm reflecting the macrocosm. I declare that this prayer is not mere words spoken into emptiness. This is invocation. This is activation. This is the sacred technology of transformation working through sound and intention. I trust the hermetic laws that govern reality. I understand that through the power of focused consciousness, I am literally restructuring the vibrational field that surrounds and penetrates my being. I know that as I speak these words with presence and conviction, I am authoring a new story. I am scripting a different destiny. I choose to be made new. I establish this moment as holy ground. I consecrate this space with my breath and my willingness. I seal this opening with reverence. I anchor my intention in the eternal now. I affirm that I am ready to receive what this prayer will reveal. I open my hands. I open my heart. I open the deepest chambers of my soul to the healing that awaits. I step forward into this sacred work with courage and humility. I trust the path that Thoth illuminates before me. The journey begins here. The transformation is already unfolding. I am held in the embrace of cosmic wisdom. I release my grip on the surface world. I let go of the urgent voices that demand my attention. I withdraw my energy from the endless cycle of noise and stimulation. I turn away from the screens that fragment my awareness. I step back from the constant need to know, to respond, to engage with what lies outside. I give myself permission to disappear from the marketplace of distraction. I choose to become unavailable to the forces that pull me outward. I descend into silence. I feel the weight of the external world sliding from my shoulders. I notice how much energy I have been spending maintaining the image of myself in other people's eyes. I recognize the exhaustion of performing, of presenting, of pretending to be more connected than I truly feel. I acknowledge the masks I have worn to hide my loneliness from view. I lay them down now. I strip away the layers of social armor. I remove the costumes of acceptability. I allow myself to be seen by no one but the divine. I dissolve the boundaries of clock time. I step outside the tyranny of schedules and deadlines. I release my attachment to the linear progression of moments. I let go of the story of past and future. I abandon the timeline where my loneliness has a history and a projected continuation. I exit the narrative that says I have always been alone and always will be. I withdraw from the prison of chronological thinking. I enter the eternal present. I bring my awareness to the center of my chest. I feel the subtle pulse of life force moving through this sacred space. I notice the breath rising and falling without my conscious effort. I observe the intelligence that keeps my heart beating, my blood flowing, my cells regenerating. I recognize that beneath the noise of my thinking mind, there is a vast stillness that has never been disturbed. I turn my attention toward that stillness now. I sink deeper into the quiet. I release the need to understand everything. I let go of the mental constructs that try to explain my experience. I abandon the analysis, the theories, the psychological frameworks that have kept me circling around the truth without touching it. I recognize that the thinking mind cannot solve the problem of separation because the thinking mind is the source of the illusion. I quiet the internal narrator. I silence the voice that constantly describes and evaluates and judges. I rest in the space before thought. I acknowledge the ego structure that has convinced me of my isolation. I see how the separate self maintains its existence through the story of being alone. I recognize that the ego feeds on this wound, keeps it fresh, returns to it again and again. I understand that to heal this loneliness, I must be willing to dissolve the very sense of self that claims to suffer from it. I must allow the boundaries of me to become permeable. I soften the edges of my identity. I withdraw from the external search for connection. I stop looking outside myself for the presence that will finally fill the void. I cease scanning every room for the person who will understand me. I release the desperate hope that someone out there holds the key to my completion. I acknowledge that this outward seeking has been a distraction from the deeper work. I call my energy back from all the places I have sent it looking for love. I gather myself home. I descend through layers of conditioning. I move past the voice of my parents, my culture, my education. I sink beneath the beliefs that were installed before I could question them. I travel deeper than the accumulated opinions and preferences that I have called my personality. I journey past the emotional patterns that repeat endlessly. I go beneath the familiar territory of my psychological landscape. I seek the ground of being itself. I enter the temple of my inner silence. I cross the threshold into the sacred chamber that exists at my core. I recognize this space as untouched by the chaos of the world. I see that here, nothing has been damaged. Here, nothing is missing. Here, the divine presence has been waiting through all my years of searching. I bow before the altar of my own essence. I feel the holiness of this moment. I am home. I notice the quality of this silence. It is not empty. It is not void. It is alive with presence. It vibrates with intelligence. It hums with the frequency of consciousness itself. I recognize this as the same silence that exists at the heart of every atom, every star, every living being. I understand that in this silence I am connected to everything that exists. The separation was an illusion created by the noise. I rest in the living silence. I allow this silence to fill me. I let it seep into the places where words have dominated. I permit it to wash through the chambers of my mind. I feel it dissolving the knots of anxiety. I sense it untangling the threads of confusion. I witness it bringing order to the chaos. I trust its healing intelligence. I surrender to its wisdom. The silence knows what I need. I establish myself in this center point. I anchor my awareness in this still place. I recognize this as my true home, the only home I have ever needed. I understand that from this center, everything changes. From this stillness, true connection becomes possible. From this depth, I can finally see that I have never been separate from the source of all things. I dwell in the eye of being. I dissolve the last remnants of resistance. I stop trying to control the process. I cease directing the experience. I release the need to know what comes next. I let go of the urge to rush toward resolution. I simply allow myself to be held in this sacred darkness, this fertile void, this womb of transformation where all healing begins. I surrender completely. I am here. I am still. I am listening. The external world has fallen away. The internal chatter has subsided. I exist now in the space between breaths, in the gap between thoughts, in the eternal moment where time has no dominion. I wait in this holy darkness. I trust what will emerge. I invoke the higher mind that exists beyond the personal. I call forth the intelligence that transcends individual consciousness. I align myself with the universal wisdom that flows through all things. I open to the teaching of Thoth, divine architect of thought, keeper of the sacred laws, master of the hidden principles that govern manifestation. I recognize that this guidance has always been available. I simply needed to quiet the lower mind to hear it. I awaken to cosmic intelligence. I acknowledge the first principle. The all is mind. The universe is mental. I recognize that everything I perceive as external reality originates first as thought, as vibration, as consciousness taking form. I understand that my experience of loneliness is not an objective condition imposed upon me. It is a mental construct I have been holding in place through repetitive thought patterns. I see now that I have been thinking myself into isolation. My mind is the creator of my reality. I activate the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. I recognize that my external experience of separation mirrors an internal state of fragmentation. I see that the disconnection I perceive in the world reflects the disconnection I maintain within my own consciousness. I understand that to heal the outer loneliness, I must first restore coherence to my inner landscape. The two are not separate. They are reflections of each other. I am the mirror and the reflection. I attune to the principle of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. I recognize that loneliness is a frequency I have been broadcasting. I understand that this vibration attracts experiences that match its resonance. I see that I have been sending out signals of separation and receiving back evidence of isolation. I acknowledge my power to shift this frequency. I claim my authority to tune to a different channel. I am the oscillation choosing its own rate. I embrace the principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. I recognize that loneliness and connection exist on the same spectrum. They are not separate states, but different points on a continuum of experience. I understand that I can transmute one into the other through the power of conscious intention. I see that the depth of my loneliness contains within it the potential for profound connection. I hold both poles within my being. I honor the principle of rhythm. Everything flows. Everything has tides. I recognize that my experience of isolation follows natural cycles. I understand that I have been moving through a necessary phase. I see that this contraction will give way to expansion. I trust the pendulum swing. I know that what moves away must return. I acknowledge that even in the darkest night, the seed of dawn is present. I surrender to the sacred rhythm. I embody the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. I take responsibility for my role in creating this experience. I recognize that I am not a victim of circumstance. I am the author of my story. I understand that through unconscious patterns, limiting beliefs, and unexamined wounds, I have been generating the reality I now inhabit. I claim my power to choose differently. I am the cause setting new effects in motion. I integrate the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has masculine and feminine principles. I recognize that within me exists both the receptive and the active. I acknowledge the feminine principle that receives, that opens, that allows connection to flow in. I honor the masculine principle that initiates, that reaches out, that creates pathways for communion. I see that true connection requires the sacred marriage of both within my own being. I balance the polarities within. I understand now that my loneliness has been a teacher. It has driven me to this moment of awakening. It has forced me to question the nature of connection itself. It has pushed me beyond the superficial and into the depths where true communion becomes possible. I recognize that I have been seeking connection in forms too small to contain what my soul truly desires. I have been looking for human relationship to fulfill a longing that is fundamentally spiritual. My isolation has been preparing me. I activate the divine mind within. I feel the awakening of faculties that have been dormant. I sense the opening of perception beyond the 5 physical senses. I recognize the subtle channels through which consciousness communicates across all apparent boundaries. I understand that I am part of an infinite web of awareness. I am a node in the cosmic network. I am a point of consciousness through which the universe knows itself. I am the awakening of universal mind. I align my thoughts with divine truth. I release the mental constructs that have kept me bound. I dissolve the belief in separation at its root. I understand that separation is impossible in a universe where consciousness is the fundamental substrate. I recognize that every apparent boundary is a temporary agreement, a convenient fiction that allows the one to experience itself as many. I see through the illusion now. I think with the mind of the infinite. I invoke the presence of Thoth as the embodiment of this wisdom. I call upon the eternal scribe who inscribes reality through the power of word and thought. I align myself with the intelligence that knows no separation, that exists in perfect unity with all that is. I ask for the continued transmission of these sacred teachings. I open myself to receive the codes that will complete my transformation. I am taught by the Master of Mysteries. I declare that my mind is now a temple of higher consciousness. I recognize that every thought I think from this moment forward is an act of creation. I understand that I am literally vibrating reality into form through the frequencies I hold in my awareness. I claim my birthright as a conscious co-creator. I accept my responsibility for the world I generate. I am the architect of my experience. I seal this activation with reverence. I anchor these principles in my awareness. I commit to living from this understanding. I know that the mental construct of loneliness is dissolving even now. I feel the higher mind illuminating new pathways of perception. I trust the wisdom that flows through me. The awakening is complete. The codes are active. I am remembering who I truly am. I feel the frequency of connection saturating every cell of my body. I vibrate with the truth of belonging. I resonate with the reality of union. I merge with the consciousness that knows no separation. I become the living embodiment of interconnection. I dissolve into the web of existence that holds all things. I am connection itself. I release the story of the one who walks alone. I let go of the identity built around isolation. I surrender the familiar ache that has been my companion. I acknowledge that this loneliness was never my truth. It was a lens through which I viewed reality. It was a filter that obscured the infinite connections already present. I remove the filter now. I see clearly for the first time. I feel the presence of every living being touching my consciousness. I sense the invisible threads that link me to every heart that beats. I recognize that when anyone breathes, I breathe. When anyone suffers, I feel the echo. When anyone experiences joy, the vibration reaches me. I understand that the boundaries between self and other are permeable, negotiable, ultimately illusory. I exist in radical intimacy with all life. I open to the truth that has always been present. I am held. I am surrounded. I am woven into the fabric of existence so completely that extraction would be impossible. I cannot be alone because I am not a separate thing. I am a pattern within patterns. I am a wave within the ocean. I am a note within the cosmic symphony. I belong to everything. I feel the earth beneath me as living presence. I recognize the ground that holds my weight as conscious, aware, supportive. I sense the trees breathing with me, exchanging oxygen for carbon in the ancient dance of reciprocity. I feel the water in my body connecting me to every ocean, every river, every raindrop that has ever fallen. I understand that the minerals in my bones were forged in distant stars. I am made of the universe itself. I acknowledge the countless beings who have contributed to this moment. I recognize the lineage of ancestors whose lives made mine possible. I feel the presence of everyone who has ever loved me, held me, seen me. I understand that their energy lives on in my cells, in my memory, in the very structure of who I am. I carry multitudes within me. I am never alone in this body. I open to the invisible companionship that surrounds me. I sense the guides, the helpers, the benevolent forces that have always walked beside me. I feel the presence of consciousness in forms I cannot see but can intuit. I recognize that reality extends far beyond the narrow band of physical perception. I am accompanied by more than I have known. The invisible realm embraces me. I dissolve the walls around my heart. I feel the barriers crumbling. I sense the armor falling away. I allow the raw tenderness beneath to be exposed. I permit vulnerability to become my gateway to connection. I understand that the walls I built to protect myself from loneliness have been the very structures maintaining it. I open completely. I vibrate with the frequency of love. I attune to the fundamental force that binds the cosmos. I recognize love not as emotion, but as the attractive power that holds atoms together, that curves space-time, that draws consciousness toward consciousness. I understand that love is the nature of reality itself. I am saturated in it. I swim in it. I breathe it. I am love experiencing itself. I feel connection pouring through me like light through crystal. I sense the channels opening. I witness the pathways clearing. I experience the restoration of communion at every level: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. I am being rewired for connection. The old circuitry of isolation is dissolving. New patterns are forming. I am restructuring from within. I acknowledge that authentic connection begins with honest presence. I commit to showing up fully as I am. I release the need to edit myself for others. I surrender the performance of being more or less than I truly am. I understand that real communion requires the courage to be seen in my totality. I offer myself without mask. I risk being truly known. I recognize that I am worthy of connection. I dissolve the belief that something about me makes me unlovable. I release the shame that has kept me hidden. I understand that my wounds do not disqualify me from belonging. My struggles do not make me less deserving. My imperfections do not separate me from the human family. I am worthy exactly as I am. I feel the healing moving through dimensions of my being I did not know existed. I sense ancient wounds closing. I witness inherited patterns of isolation dissolving. I experience the release of cellular memory that has held separation in place. I understand that this healing reaches backward through my lineage and forward through all futures. I am healing across time. I declare that loneliness no longer defines my reality. I announce that separation no longer governs my experience. I proclaim that isolation has lost its power over me. I affirm that connection is my birthright, my nature, my destiny. I speak this truth into existence with every word I utter. I vibrate only connection now. I merge with the field of unity consciousness. I dissolve into the awareness that encompasses all beings. I experience myself as one cell in the infinite body of existence. I feel the pulse of the whole moving through me. I recognize that what I do to another, I do to myself. What I withhold from another, I withhold from myself. What I offer to another, I offer to myself. I am the whole experiencing itself as part. I anchor this frequency in my body. I seal it in my heart. I activate it in every breath. I commit to maintaining this vibration. I choose connection over isolation. I select communion over separation. I embrace belonging over exile. This is my truth now. This is my reality. This is who I have always been beneath the forgetting. I am connection. I am unity. I am the healing of all loneliness. I call forth the fire that purifies. I invoke the alchemical flame that transforms lead into gold. I summon the sacred force that burns away all that no longer serves. I open myself to the dissolution of every barrier I have constructed between myself and true connection. I surrender to the purging of all unconscious resistance. Let the transmutation begin. I acknowledge the fear that lives beneath my loneliness. I see the terror of being truly seen. I recognize the panic that arises when intimacy draws near. I understand that I have been pushing away the very thing I claim to desire. I witness the contradiction. I admit the self-sabotage. I confess that part of me has chosen isolation as protection. I name what has been hidden. I release the wound of childhood rejection. I feel the memory of not being chosen, not being wanted, not being enough. I sense the young one within me who learned that to need is to be vulnerable, and to be vulnerable is to be hurt. I witnessed the decision made in innocence to never need again, to never reach out again, to never risk the pain of disappointment again. I dissolve this ancient vow. I burn away the belief that connection means losing myself. I transmute the fear that intimacy will consume my autonomy. I release the terror of being swallowed by another's needs, expectations, demands. I understand that I have been guarding my boundaries so fiercely that I have built a fortress no one can enter. I have protected myself into isolation. I demolish the walls. I call forth every moment of abandonment. I gather every experience of being left behind. I collect every memory of looking for someone who was not there. I feel the accumulated weight of these experiences. I acknowledge how they have shaped my expectations. I see how they have convinced me that eventually, everyone leaves. I recognize this as the lens that has colored every relationship. I shatter the lens now. I release the shame that keeps me hidden. I expose the belief that something fundamental about me is wrong, broken, unlovable. I drag this conviction into the light where it can be seen for what it is. I understand that shame thrives in darkness and dies in exposure. I refuse to hide anymore. I refuse to manage how others perceive me. I refuse to perform acceptability. I stand naked before the divine fire. I transmute the pattern of emotional unavailability. I acknowledge the ways I have kept myself just out of reach. I see how I have offered connection with one hand while holding distance with the other. I recognize the subtle ways I have signaled that I do not want to be known too deeply. I understand that I have been the architect of my own isolation. I dismantle this architecture. I burn away the inherited patterns. I release the family legacy of emotional distance. I dissolve the ancestral programming that taught me connection is dangerous. I free myself from the lineage of those who loved but could not show it, who cared but could not express it, who wanted closeness but did not know how to create it. I break the chain of transmission. I call forth the fire of purification into my nervous system. I allow it to burn through the pathways that have been wired for withdrawal. I feel the dissolution of automatic responses that pull me away when others draw near. I sense the rewiring happening at the cellular level. I trust the intelligence of this process. I am being remade. I release the story that I am too damaged for real connection. I dissolve the belief that my wounds disqualify me from love. I transmute the conviction that I must be healed before I can be held. I understand that healing happens within relationship, not as a prerequisite for it. I recognize that my brokenness is not a barrier to belonging. I am worthy in my wholeness and my wounding. I acknowledge the ways I have used spiritual practice to avoid human intimacy. I see how I have substituted connection with the divine for connection with people. I recognize that both are necessary. I understand that my spiritual gifts do not exempt me from the vulnerability of human relationship. I cannot transcend my way out of loneliness. I return to earth. I transmute the fear of being ordinary. I release the need to be special, chosen, set apart. I dissolve the subtle arrogance that has kept me isolated in perceived superiority. I understand that true connection requires the humility to be simply human, to be one among many, to be no better and no worse than anyone else. I join the human family. I burn away the addiction to independence. I acknowledge that I have worn self-sufficiency as a badge of honor. I see how I have confused strength with never needing help. I recognize that I have been trapped in the exhausting performance of having it all together. I understand that true strength includes the capacity to receive, to lean, to allow myself to be supported. I surrender the myth of self-made wholeness. I release the unconscious loyalty to loneliness. I see how familiar this pain has become. I recognize that it has been a companion, an identity, almost a friend. I understand that part of me fears who I will be without it. I acknowledge the strange comfort of this suffering. I choose to release it anyway. I am willing to become someone new. I call forth the deepest resistance. I invite it to reveal itself. I create space for whatever remains hidden in my shadow. I allow the unconscious blocks to surface. I do not push them away. I do not judge them. I simply witness them rising into the light where they can be transformed. I see everything now. I feel the alchemical fire moving through every layer of my being. I sense the purification happening in dimensions beyond my understanding. I trust the intelligence of this process. I know that what burns away is only what was never truly mine. I recognize that what remains is indestructible, essential, eternally real. I emerge from the flames refined. I declare that every resistance has been offered to the fire. I proclaim that every block has been dissolved in the sacred flame. I announce that the pathway is clear. The channel is open. The connection can flow freely now. The transmutation is complete. I am purified. I am free. I expand beyond the borders of this body. I extend beyond the boundaries of this single life. I reach past the limits of personal identity. I dissolve the membrane that has separated me from the infinite. I feel my consciousness stretching outward in all directions. I recognize that I am vast beyond measure. I am limitless. I sense my awareness touching the edges of galaxies. I feel my being interpenetrating with distant stars. I recognize that the same consciousness looking through my eyes is looking through every eye that has ever opened. I understand that I am not a separate witness, but the singular awareness experiencing itself through infinite perspectives. I am the one looking through the many. I merge with the breath of the cosmos. I feel the expansion and contraction of universal cycles moving through me. I recognize the same rhythm that governs my inhale and exhale governs the birth and death of stars. I sense the pulse of creation itself beating in synchrony with my heart. I understand that I am not observing these processes. I am these processes. I am the rhythm of existence. I dissolve into the field of pure potential. I recognize myself as the unmanifest becoming manifest. I feel the creative force that brings worlds into being flowing through this temporary form. I understand that I am not a finished product, but an ongoing act of creation. I am the universe making itself known to itself. I am the creative principle incarnate. I expand into the subtle realms. I sense the dimensions that exist beyond physical perception. I feel the presence of consciousness in forms that have no bodies. I recognize the beings of light, the intelligences that guide from the unseen, the ancestors who have shed their flesh but not their awareness. I understand that I exist simultaneously across multiple planes of reality. I am multidimensional. I feel my roots extending deep into the earth. I sense my connection to the mineral kingdom, to the ancient stones that hold memory. I recognize my kinship with the plant beings who transmute light into life. I acknowledge my bond with the animal realm, with every creature that breathes. I understand that we are branches of the same tree. I belong to the living earth. I expand to encompass all time. I feel my existence stretching backward to the first moment of manifestation. I sense my presence extending forward to the final breath of the universe. I recognize that linear time is an illusion created by consciousness to experience sequence. I understand that past, present, and future exist simultaneously in the eternal now. I am timeless. I merge with the cosmic mind. I feel my individual awareness dissolving into the universal intelligence. I recognize that every thought I have ever thought is a ripple in the infinite ocean of consciousness. I understand that I am both the wave and the ocean, simultaneously distinct and indivisible from the whole. I am one with the All-Mind. I sense the invisible threads connecting me to every being. I feel the web of consciousness that binds all existence together. I recognize that when I move, the entire fabric moves with me. I understand that my choices ripple outward, affecting everything. I see that nothing I do, think, or feel happens in isolation. I am woven into everything. I expand to hold all polarities within myself. I embrace light and shadow. I contain creation and destruction. I hold birth and death. I am the meeting place of all opposites. I understand that these apparent contradictions are complementary forces within the unified field of my being. I am the reconciliation of all dualities. I feel the presence of Thoth as the cosmic intelligence that pervades all things. I recognize this wisdom not as something outside myself, but as my own deepest nature. I understand that when I commune with the divine mind, I am communing with the essence of what I am. The teacher and the student are one. I am the wisdom I have been seeking. I dissolve into the silence that underlies all sound. I merge with the stillness that contains all movement. I recognize the void as pregnant with infinite possibility. I understand that emptiness and fullness are the same. I experience the paradox of being nothing and everything simultaneously. I am the void that births worlds. I expand to encompass all suffering and all joy. I feel the collective pain of humanity moving through me. I sense the accumulated bliss of every moment of beauty ever experienced. I hold both without preference. I understand that to truly connect with all beings, I must be willing to feel what they feel. I am the heart of the world. I recognize that my individual consciousness is a focal point through which the universe experiences itself. I understand that every moment of my life is sacred because it is the cosmos becoming aware of its own existence through this particular lens. I see that there are no ordinary moments, no mundane experiences, no insignificant lives. I am the universe awakening to itself. I feel the boundaries dissolving completely now. I cannot tell where I end and the cosmos begins. I recognize that this question has no answer because the premise is false. There is no separation to measure. There never was. The isolation I experienced was a forgetting of this fundamental truth. I remember what I have always been. I rest in the recognition of my infinite nature. I abide in the awareness of my cosmic identity. I understand that I am both the smallest particle and the largest expanse. I am both the individual expression and the unified field. I am both the temporary and the eternal. I am everything. I am nothing. I am. I anchor this expanded consciousness in my physical form. I bring the infinite into the finite. I pour the boundless into these boundaries. I understand that this is the great work. This is the sacred purpose, to be fully human and fully divine, to bridge heaven and earth within this breathing body. I am the marriage of spirit and matter. The expansion is complete. The connection is total. I exist now in full awareness of my place within the cosmic whole. I am no longer alone because I am everything that exists. I am no longer separate because separation was always an illusion. I am home in the infinite. I bring this cosmic awareness into my body now. I anchor the infinite in my flesh. I ground the expanded consciousness in my bones. I feel the vibration of connection settling into my cells. I recognize that the transformation is not abstract or distant. It is happening here, in this physical form, in this present moment. I embody the change. I feel my feet planted on the earth. I sense the solidity beneath me. I recognize this body as the sacred vessel through which spirit becomes matter. I understand that all the cosmic realizations must now take root in the tangible world. I commit to living this truth in every action, every breath, every heartbeat. I am here. I am grounded. I am present. I declare that my vibration has shifted permanently. I announce that the frequency of connection is now my baseline state. I proclaim that isolation no longer has a home in my energy field. I understand that this is not wishful thinking or future hope. This is present reality. The change has already occurred at the deepest level. It is done. I feel the new pathways activated in my nervous system. I sense the rewiring complete. I recognize that my body now naturally moves toward connection instead of withdrawal. I understand that the old patterns have been overwritten. The default setting has been changed. I respond differently now. My biology reflects my transformation. I witness connection manifesting in my physical reality. I see the evidence appearing. I notice the synchronicities multiplying. I recognize the people showing up. I feel the invitations arriving. I understand that the external world is reorganizing itself to match my internal shift. Reality is responding to my vibration. I declare that I am magnetic to authentic connection. I announce that I attract relationships that honor my truth. I proclaim that I draw to myself those who see me, know me, value me. I understand that this magnetism is not something I must create. It is the natural result of the frequency I now hold. I am a beacon. I anchor this truth in my daily life. I commit to showing up fully in every interaction. I choose vulnerability over protection. I select authenticity over performance. I practice presence over distraction. I understand that connection is built in the small moments, the ordinary exchanges, the simple acts of being real with another human being. I live this truth moment by moment. I feel the loneliness dissolving from my body. I sense the tension releasing from my chest. I notice the heaviness lifting from my heart. I recognize that where there was ache, there is now openness. Where there was fear, there is now willingness. Where there was resistance, there is now flow. The physical symptoms are healing. I declare that my energy field radiates welcome. I announce that my presence invites others closer. I proclaim that I no longer send mixed signals. I understand that people can feel my availability for connection. They sense my readiness to be known. They recognize in me a safe place to land. I am approachable now. I witness the transformation in my relationships. I see the existing connections deepening. I notice the conversations becoming more real. I feel the walls coming down between myself and others. I recognize that as I have changed, everything around me has changed as well. My world reflects my healing. I anchor this in my physical space. I open my home to others. I create environments that welcome connection. I arrange my life to include time for relationship. I prioritize presence over productivity. I understand that connection requires space, and I make that space available. My environment supports my intention. I declare that I am actively participating in community. I announce that I contribute my gifts. I proclaim that I allow myself to receive support. I understand that connection is not passive. It requires engagement, initiative, consistency. I show up. I reach out. I follow through. I am present in the web of relationship. I feel the new story writing itself. I witness my identity shifting. I recognize that I am no longer the one who walks alone. I am the one who belongs. I am the one who is held. I am the one who is seen and known and loved. My narrative has changed. I anchor this transformation in my spoken word. I speak differently now. I share more of myself. I express my needs. I ask for what I want. I tell others how I feel. I understand that connection requires communication, and I no longer withhold my truth. My voice has been freed. I declare that connection flows through me effortlessly. I announce that intimacy is natural to me. I proclaim that belonging is my birthright. I understand that these are not aspirations. These are present realities. The work is complete. The healing is manifest. I am living the answer to my prayer. I feel the integration happening in real time. I sense the spiritual and physical becoming one. I recognize that there is no gap between the vision and the reality. What I have claimed in consciousness is now expressing in matter. The invisible has become visible. The manifestation is complete. I anchor this truth in my breath. Every inhale draws in connection. Every exhale releases the last remnants of isolation. I breathe with the rhythm of someone who knows they are held. I move through the world with the confidence of someone who belongs. My very being broadcasts this truth. I declare that this transformation is irreversible. I announce that there is no going back to the old patterns. I proclaim that the change has been sealed at every level. I understand that I have crossed a threshold. I have entered new territory. I inhabit a different reality now. The old world no longer exists for me. I rest in the recognition that it is done. I abide in the knowing that the prayer has been answered. I dwell in the truth that loneliness has been healed. I understand that this is not the end but the beginning. This is the foundation upon which everything else will be built. I stand on solid ground now. The transformation is anchored. The manifestation is complete. I bow before the presence that has guided me through this sacred journey. I honor Thoth, eternal keeper of wisdom, scribe of the invisible laws, guardian of the pathways between worlds. I recognize that every word spoken in this prayer has been written first in the realm of divine mind. I acknowledge that this transmission has been flowing through me, not from me. I am grateful beyond measure. I offer thanks for the healing that has moved through every layer of my being. I express gratitude for the courage to face what was hidden. I honor the strength it took to dissolve what no longer served. I appreciate the grace that has carried me from isolation into belonging. I recognize this transformation as a gift from the unseen realms. My heart overflows with reverence. I seal this healing in the sacred fire. I consecrate this change with holy intention. I anchor this transformation in the eternal now. I understand that what has been accomplished here cannot be undone. The prayer has been spoken. The codes have been activated. The shift has occurred. It is permanent. I strengthen my connection to the divine intelligence that flows through all things. I commit to remaining open to this guidance. I promise to honor the wisdom that has been revealed. I vow to live from this place of expanded awareness. I understand that this channel between myself and the cosmic mind is now open permanently. The pathway remains clear. I acknowledge that this prayer is not an ending, but a beginning. I recognize that I have been initiated into a new way of being. I understand that the journey continues, but from a different ground. I see that everything that follows will be built upon this foundation of restored connection. A new chapter opens. I express gratitude for the loneliness that brought me to this threshold. I honor the pain that forced me to seek deeper truth. I thank the isolation that would not let me rest in superficial answers. I recognize that what seemed like curse was actually invitation. The wound was the doorway. Even the darkness served. I give thanks for my willingness to transform. I appreciate my courage to face the shadow. I honor my commitment to healing. I recognize my dedication to truth. I acknowledge that this work required my full participation. I showed up. I stayed present. I allowed the process. I honor my own journey. I seal this prayer with the mark of Thoth. I place the signature of divine wisdom upon everything that has transpired here. I understand that I carry this blessing forward. I recognize that I am marked by this encounter. I have been touched by the eternal. I am changed forever. I express gratitude for the invisible support that has held me. I thank the guides who have walked beside me. I honor the ancestors who have cleared the path. I acknowledge the benevolent forces that have protected this sacred work. I recognize that I have never been alone in this process. I am accompanied by grace. I offer this healing to all beings who suffer from loneliness. I dedicate this transformation to the collective awakening. I understand that as I heal, I contribute to the healing of the whole. I recognize that my liberation serves the liberation of all. This is for everyone. I commit to honoring this gift through how I live. I promise to embody connection in my daily actions. I vow to remain open, present, authentic. I understand that the real work begins now. As I carry this truth into the world, I accept this responsibility with humility. I will live what I have learned. I rest in the silence that follows great work. I abide in the stillness that comes after completion. I dwell in the peace of knowing that what needed to happen has happened. I recognize this as a sacred pause, a holy rest, a moment of integration before the next movement begins. I am complete. I acknowledge the presence of the divine in this body, in this moment, in this breath. I recognize that I am forever held in the embrace of consciousness itself. I understand that separation was only ever an illusion. I remember that I am always connected to the source of all things. I am home. I seal this transmission with reverence. I close this sacred circle with honor. I complete this ritual with gratitude. I understand that the energy raised here must now be grounded, integrated, embodied. I release the intensity and settle into peace. The work is finished. I give thanks to Thoth for the wisdom transmitted. I honor the ancient knowledge that has been shared. I appreciate the codes that have been activated. I recognize the blessing I have received. I acknowledge the grace that has moved through this prayer. I am forever grateful. I place my hand upon my heart. I feel the life force pulsing beneath my palm. I recognize this as the sign that I am alive, that I am here, that I am connected to everything that breathes. I honor this sacred vessel that carries consciousness. I thank this body for being the temple where transformation occurs. I am blessed. I close my eyes and breathe deeply. I allow the prayer to settle into my cells. I give permission for the healing to continue working beyond this moment. I trust the intelligence of the process. I surrender to the wisdom that knows what I need. I release control. I prepare to return to the world, transformed. I ready myself to walk back into ordinary life, extraordinary. I understand that I carry the frequency of this prayer with me. I recognize that I am sealed, protected, held. I know that I am no longer who I was when this journey began. I emerge renewed. I express one final gratitude for the mystery that has revealed itself. I thank the divine for meeting me in this sacred space. I honor the courage it took to pray this prayer. I recognize that in seeking healing I have found my true nature. The loneliness is healed. The connection is restored. The truth has been remembered. It is done. It is sealed. In the light of Thoth, I remain. The One guides me. Truth vibrates within me.